Our all-day coverage of Game 7 of the NBA Finals continues with podcast number 304.3, 5 questions that need answers with Will Rutherford, our special live Game 7 preview. Will was joined by our Pacers guy Mike Rich, our NBA guy John Robertson, Codey Emerson of the Greencastle Banner Graphic, and Mike Hutsell, one of my favorite people, my former boss, and our staff Swiss Army knife. And please beware of bad words. I tried to edit them, but I don't think I found all of them. Sorry.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengel.
Welcome, Central Indiana sports fans, to 5 questions that need answers with Will Rutherford. And it's 5 guests who are going to be answering questions. We've got Codey Emerson from the Greencastle Banner Graphic. We've got our NBA guy, John Robertson. We've got Mike Hutsell with us. And, of course, our Pacers guy, Mike Rich. And I'm going to ask questions. Will's going to answer, and you guys are all going to tell him why he's wrong. All right, question number 1. Who's been the most important player for the Pacers in these playoffs, Will Rutherford?
Siakam. I feel like that's low-hanging fruit, but I think without them,
No.
they're not here. Are we going off like Tyrese's clutch or Siakam's
Who's been the most important player in this run?
I'm still going Siakam. I think that what he's been able to do, rebounding the ball, the fact that he's scoring the highest clip. Like Tyrese, while the theatrics in the late game heroics have been like out of this world, and there will be documentary about it if they're able to get the job done tomorrow. He's kind of disappeared a few times in a way
you mean in a couple hours now, right?
But I think that the theatrics has been great, but let's be honest, there's been a few games that he's kind of he's just not showed up. And I still think he's a superstar. I've said that the whole year, that I think that he's way better than people have ever given him credit for. And sometimes they have bad games. But see, if it's not for Siakam, like he showed up, I can think of game 2 and the Knicks when he scored 39 to go up 2-0, winning 2 in the Garden. Like that was a huge moment at that time in venture of the year that completely flipped that series around. He's been a steady heartbeat this entire finals run. It's got to be him.
Who wants to tell him why he's wrong?
I think it's a good try, Will. I like Siakam, but if I have to disagree with you because I was told I have to disagree with you, I'm gonna go with the sleeper pick that no one will say, and Andrew Nembhard.
Oh,
Andrew Nembhard. Yeah, you did not see that coming. I'm going to say Andrew Nembhard because while he's not been flashy on the numbers offensively, I think he's the reason that he's kept Pacers in the game because of his defensive shutdown of the stars of pretty much every team we've played against. If you want to go offense, I definitely think Siakam's been the pulse that keeps the team going for the starters. I love Halliburton, and I think he's the straw that stirs the drink. But I think the biggest difference maker has been Andrew Nembhard on defense, shutting down stars.
Well, you just answered why the answer. You just answered why the answer is Halliburton. He's the straw that stirs the drink. He makes this whole thing go.
I agree that that's true, but I mean consistency is I wouldn't even say it's a problem. I'll go with it's an issue that needs to be
Siakam's
corrected.
definitely been more consistent, for sure.
Yes, consistency, Siakam, but and Halliburton, excellent, super good. Love him throughout the whole run. But I really do believe that Nembhard, his defense has made a huge difference that some people may not be paying attention to.
Greg, sometimes drinks don't need stirred. Sometimes they're perfect just the way they are. And Siakam he's a perfect McDonald's sweet tea that doesn't need anything. Okay? And that's all I gotta say about that.
This is the part of the show where I say Miles Turner, right?
Yes, it is. That's exactly the point. This is exactly the point of this.
No, as the Miles Turner defender I am, I can't defend that if I were to say it. I don't disagree with Nembhard. and I don't disagree with Siakam, but to be different, and Greg's going to love this, I'm going to say TJ McConnell. Just because
I just wanted to see
M
Will's
double
face if
C
somebody said
O
it.
double N.
I
And
know.
that's why I didn't say TJ McConnell.
Yeah, I know. But we've known TJ McConnell to be a great the Energizer Bunny, the Lance
Spark
Stevenson
plug.
type.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the theatrics that Lance does, I don't think, but um, he has perfected, and I can't remember who said it. I think it might have been you, John, in the chat in our group text. He has perfected that little free throw line bunny hop jumper. It's it's
It's
I
inside the free
don't.
throw line. It's really like I don't know, maybe like a 10-footer. But
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
pulls
Eight
up,
foot. Yeah.
and it's such a
I
late
don't.
release too.
I
That's
mean,
what
we
always
talk
gets
about
me.
superstars having their signature move, but that's TJ McConnell's signature move, and the
But he's
spark
got
that
4 or
he
5
provides off
really
the
good moves,
bench
too.
is he's been sensational. This is
Yeah.
probably the best stretch of
I think his
basketball I'd say of his career, and it's been he's a pest. He's a flat out pest that you hate to play against and you love when he's on your team.
And
And
he adds things to his game every single day, it seems like. He's
mhm.
fixed something that he had a problem. It's unbelievable how much he's contributed
Hey,
to this as well.
hey, we're leaving out the most important thing. He has a really hot sister.
I, I felt so bad for McConnell when his dad did that interview the other night and just ragged him for not winning a state championship, and then his sister had won the championship, and he's just like, "This is
It's an
unbelievable."
That's
inside
the life.
joke with the
That's the life
family.
Reggie Miller had to live as well. So
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thought it
Yeah.
was good. I thought, but I think the best thing he does is he changes momentum and he leads the bench, and I would have to agree, Cody. I think T.J. McConnell is definitely up there as somebody to consider for the most important player that we've had. Especially in the finals. I think he gets key turnovers. I think that's one of his signature moves is that inbound
Yep.
pass that he will steal, and it's something he consistently does. And that 10-foot shot that he has is outstanding. The one from the side, I mean, but he's also not
The
afraid to
reverse layup.
take it to the
Yeah, the
basket.
reverse
And
layups.
the reverse
Yeah.
layup. I mean, yeah, he can definitely confuse a defense, and he is a definitely he needs the broad ripple spark plug
What I
jersey.
will
we
have loved about him is really this postseason is teams are. I mean, has he shot the best, or has he taken the most threes? Has he taken? Has he? I don't even know what his percentage is. It may not even be great.
It's
But
higher
I
than you
don't think
think it
he's
is.
too afraid to shoot him anymore. Like, is that his game? No, but he's made a couple that have really. I mean, just you talk about momentum plays too. And Greg, that's kind of what I think what Greg was alluding to, adding a little bit to his game. Is it a pretty jump shot? Absolutely not. Does it take a little bit to get off? Yes, but I tell you what, when TJ McConnell is making threes for you, which it's not often, but that just adds to the impact that he makes on off the bench.
we're missing the obvious here. The key factor for this team is undefeated when Johnny Furphy plays. So I don't know how we're missing that. When he's in the lineup, this team has not lost a postseason game. So the
If
obvious
he gets
answer,
big minutes, that's a good thing.
exactly. His plus
Yeah.
minus maybe negative 93 if I've calculated it correctly, because he can't guard a tree. But we don't lose when that guy's in the lineup. So I'm going to go with my boy Furf.
Well, that's my next question, and I'll let you tell him why he's wrong, Hutzel. But Will, who is the most important player for the Pacers in Game 7?
You know what? You guys are gonna really shit on me for saying this, but I honestly think it's TJ McConnell. Like, I really think that if he comes out and is the spark plug that is needed, I think that he's going to be the difference maker. He is been a great slasher. That the move that nobody's talked about yet on this podcast is that right shoulder spin, which is just lethal. It is unguardable. It is one of the smoothest moves that I've seen in my life. And actually, I watched TJ McConnell in college and in his early NBA days, and I worked on that move because of TJ McConnell. Um,
Hey, Susie, Will
now,
saying good things about TJ McConnell.
now, what I will say is there's been a lot of
He's
TJ
never done
McConnell
that
love.
before.
There's been a lot of TJ McConnell love, and this is what I will say to Cody, Mike Rich, and you, Greg, is that you guys clearly don't drive with rear view mirrors because McConnell was unplayable in that Knicks series. He was bad in that Cavs series, and he was non-existent in that Buck series. This guy, he's put a great series together, but he was nothing short of a liability basically the entire playoffs. He played Will Levis football with a basketball and just throwing the ball to the
I
other
remember
team.
singing his name
And
an awful lot during those series, Will.
as
Oh
in
yeah.
jest, but not in serious because he's not been good until this finals run, and it's great that he is. And I think Obi Toppin is an honorable mention for that name too because I think that bench will be shorter.
Mm.
And if he can score 20 points again, they're winning Game 7. So
Now he's saying bad things
I
about
think
him again.
we had to bring it back down to earth.
That's
It
We
was a
right.
have to.
it was a short but sweet life.
That's right.
I
I disagree with
I
Will because I
I
think the most important player going into tomorrow is Siakam because he's the guy who's been there and he's got to be their presence. He's on his way to earning one of the cooler nicknames with that eye roll he did before Game 6. They're starting to call him the Thunder Taker. If they can
Ooh, I
win this
like it.
series, if they can win this series, and that could be his nickname moving forward, that would be amazing. He's got the moment of the postseason, I think, for the Pacers with that when he took Jalen Williams' soul the other night on that fast break dunk.
He definitely
Plus,
did that.
and like I said, I mean, he was with Toronto. He was good with Toronto a few years ago. So he's got to go into this game with the mindset is like, I've been here before. I've got to put this team on my back. They're going to follow me to a championship here in a Game 7. And that's why I think he's the most important player going into tomorrow.
But isn't Alex Caruso doing that for the Thunder too?
Alex Caruso is
Caruso averaged like 5 points the year the Lakers won the championship.
I know. I was
plus
jesting.
People talk about Caruso having championship experience. Can
Yeah,
literally just shut up. He was on the team. He was like probably their seventh, eighth man.
I don't think Cody was on the podcast when I went on my Caruso rant. So
no,
you don't bring that man's name up around me. He won an NBA title in an AAU tournament in Disney World.
that's right.
Oh yeah, the Mickey Mouse ring.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that doesn't count.
yeah. Oh, I'm 100% in agreement with you.
So the guy's garbage. Just forget his name. Let's scrub his name from this podcast. We don't want to talk about him.
Yeah.
Let's just
We'll
move
do a
on.
search and scrub it completely.
I think, and you know what? This is the part of the podcast where I will bring up Miles Turner because the Pacers have won and gotten to Game 7 in spite of, and what I've said, I will say it once, I'll say it again. I will defend Miles Turner till the day I die. He's been awful offensively in the finals. And the Pacers have still found ways to win. If Miles Turner can give you a 20-point game, knock down some threes, which I know he's been awful at, you're talking about pressure being taken off Siakam. You're talking about pressure being taken off Halliburton and that strained calf. And we know what he's going to give you defensively. He's been great on Chet Holmgren. Siakam and Turner both have in these finals. I'm going to say Miles Turner. If Pacers are going to win Game 7, I hope Miles Turner is a big reason for it. I know we touched on that a
That would
little
be
bit
great.
ago, but if he's able to, and I'll close by saying this: no one on this Pacers team, in my opinion, deserves a championship more than Miles Turner. But
Listen,
Well, that brings me up to my next
I
question.
hold
Since
on,
we're here,
Can I address it?
Can,
I
Can
can
I
I?
promise.
answer?
I promise that you could continue to answer this question, but it's a kind of a B part to the question. So let me just ask it. Um, Part three of the question is, um, dang it. Oh, win or lose this game on Sunday, does it change how you feel about what they do after the season ends? Will.
No, because I've already decided what I think that they should do. It's not what they will do, but it's what they should do, and that is not re-sign Miles Turner, because he's not worth the $30 million year. That if they can get him on a team friendly deal, but if the number is what it's been reported as, it's too high for Miles Turner. I know that Pacers fans don't like that because he's been such a steadfast part of this organization for 10 years, and I'm happy. If he wins a finals here, I think that he's a potential jersey retirement for what he's brought to the Pacers. But he's not worth $30 million a year, and he has been to me the most movable piece in this roster and rotation. You see Obi Toppin and Tony Bradley minutes start to creep into Miles Turner playing. It's not a secret. He's not somebody that they can win in spite of Miles Turner not playing well. And I hope he does play well. But if we're hoping that he takes the pressure off of Halliburton's calf, then Halliburton might as well strain the other calf because I'm not holding my breath that Miles Turner's going to suddenly go off for 20 and 13 tomorrow. It's just not going to happen.
I completely agree with you. I'm not holding out hope that that's going to happen, but I don't think regardless of what happens, win or lose, I don't think you now is 30 million probably a little too much for Miles Turner. Oh, sure. I don't think he's probably worth that much, but I think he's earned the right to stay, and it's hard for me to kind of I what I continue to say about when you shop players, when you shop or decide to not sign a player, it's like okay, that's fine. Who are we comfortable with? I mean, I guess starting Obi and depleting the depth. That's my thing. Is I love the role that Obi Toppin plays, the spark that he and McConnell can both bring off the bench. Most teams just have one guy. We have two, and if you can, Miles Turner is just a phenomenal rim protector. Has he shot like crap this finals? Yes, he has. But his ability to stretch the floor, to have cuts for Neesmith, Halliburton, Nemhard, the guards to be able to cut through the lane, that's valuable. It's at least the threat. So I think Miles Turner's back with this team regardless of what happens. It'll be interesting to kind of see if they just if that's the only move that they make. Um, I
I
really
agree,
don't.
but I
I
don't
don't
think
think
that's
you
the right
really need to
move.
do much other than that, in my
I
opinion.
agree, but I don't think that's the right move. Mike Rich, you wanted to answer the question about who's the most important tomorrow.
The most important player tomorrow is Andrew Nemhard. If you want to look at offense, I say Siakam, but all around, Nemhard's probably the most important player for the Pacers tomorrow and how he plays against SGA and slows him down, creates more turnovers. Um, just you have to slow that start down, and SGA is going to come out, and Nemhard's going to have. I mean, he's going to be put in a tough situation. We don't want to see him get two quick fouls in the first quarter, but I think he's got to step it up. Um, Regards to Turner. I love Miles Turner. I think he's been loyal to the Pacers. If he had a friendly deal, a home deal or whatever for the Pacers, absolutely. But anything over 28 million is probably too much for him to stay, and he's going to get it somewhere else. And But if he can give the Pacers a deal and they can work it out, I mean, I'm more than happy for him to stay. I think the Pacers being loyal to him as he's been loyal to us as well, and would love to see someone like that retire as a Pacer. And I think it makes it a lot easier if we win the championship. But and then the only other thing I had was I think I said Broad Ripple spark plugs. I think
It
it's
is the
Speedway
Speedway.
spark
That's right.
plugs. So sorry about that. So McConnell and the Speedway spark plugs jersey.
To answer, well, let me first go with my comment about Miles was like I am far from a Miles hater. I've been a supporter, but like I criticize him when he deserves it. But I would be perfectly happy if he took 0 threes tomorrow. I don't want to see a single three out of Miles Turner tomorrow. Like I want him to play hard and play great, but I absolutely don't want a 3-point shot taken by him, regardless if it goes in or not. If he does take one, I don't think he should take it. That being
He
said,
was much better on the boards the last game, and I was really happy to see that. And he actually got 3 or 4 contested rebounds.
yeah, and I love that he has that 3-point game sometimes, but like now is not the time to test it. Like the probability's not there. That being said, if I have to pick someone who's going to be the difference maker on the game 7, I'm going to go with Aaron Nesmith is going to have a magnet ball game, and I just want to see him score like 12 points in 2 minutes and just put us way up. That's what I want to see.
Will, if the Pacers win on Sunday night tonight, how does it change your view of the guy that you wanted to throw in the canal not long ago, Rick Carlisle? Is he suddenly an all-timer if he wins this?
Yeah, I mean, without question, because he has the two probably most underdog runs, and definitely since 2000, and probably maybe the modern NBA as we know it. Since the 3-point line, maybe underdog. I mean, I don't even know how far back in NBA history you have to go. I mean, those Mavs, this Pacers team statistically, through the betting odds, would be the biggest underdog champion ever. Um, and I
Oh,
think that
four
he, I mean,
Pistons, I think.
I think if they win Game 7, it's them now. And
Yeah.
I would say that he passes Spoelstra for sure. I don't even think there's an argument of conversation. Spoelstra has not really won a championship since the South Beach Trio or whatever you want to call that, the uh, David Stern Lever Boys. But I mean, I think Steve Kerr probably also has an argument of like Rick Carlisle. Do Rick Carlisle's 2 championships with the teams that he did it with surpass the 4 with basically a stacked Golden State team for pretty much all of it except 2021 when they kind of won on a spur?
You could make that argument.
I I think that I said before, he's in that 10 to 15 range. 10 seems too high, 15 seems too low. He's probably like 12, 13, and I think that he entertains that probably 8 to 10 range just with the fact of what he's been able to do. He's done it in 2 different conferences. He's done it in 2 different eras. Just
4 different stops. The Pacers
yeah,
the
I
first time,
mean,
the Pistons. They never had a bad team.
I think that Rick Carlisle is worthy of all the credit if he's able to pull this off Game 7, and I think that he's got the coaching advantage. I mean, the players are ultimately have to hit shots. They have to execute the game plan and perform to their best abilities. But I have full confidence that Carlisle is going to have the team ready to go.
But this series has really been whichever team was more prepared has won each game.
Yeah,
The
I
coaching's
think
been
that
huge in this.
Game 4 felt like the Pacers kind of let it down a little bit. The
That
players
might be
even
the
more so than the
exception.
coaching.
Yeah, that might
I
be the
don't really
exception.
think there were also a couple missed calls that I thought definitely could have affected the momentum of that game. Specifically, SGA go ahead baseline jumper that he essentially assaulted Aaron Nesmith on. That was a huge momentum changer as far as how that game flowed and went out that last 2 minutes. I'd say that game was without really coaching interference is making a difference. I just don't think the Pacers hit shots down the stretch. They just didn't play very well. And he's not the reason they lost Game 5 either. I think when the Pacers have won, it's because of the strategic advantage that Carlisle's provided them, but I'm not really sure that when they've lost, it's been Carlisle's doing it all. I think it's just kind of them just not hitting shots.
Rick Carlisle is, and I just looked it up just to make sure that I was somewhat right or thinking along the same lines. He is 10th in all-time playoff wins right now. He's got 86. And like you mentioned, Will, 2 championships, not just 2 championships. The most improbable playoff runs we've seen. Name another more improbable playoff run than either the 2011 Mavs or this year's Pacers team. I think you would be very hard pressed
Can't be
to
done.
find one, dare I say, in NBA history. Granted, I might be a prisoner of the moment here.
Wasn't Houston a 5 seed when they won it all in '94, something like that? That would be another one. I think
that has been a
They
team
were
that
the
I think
6th
people have
seed
been
when they
brought
beat
up.
Orlando.
they were the 6th seed. Okay, yeah. So,
Yeah,
but they had Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah,
Right.
What about the 2004 Pistons?
That wasn't that big of a surprise. They were probably the co-favorites
that
in the
Lakers
East.
team was old.
They
That was
hated
the
each other by
very
then.
old Lakers team.
Name any player on that team besides Ben Wallace.
Rasheed
Tayshaun
Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey
Rip-
Billups.
yeah.
All right, just checking. I was just,
No, but they were probably co-favorites going into the playoffs with the Pacers. The Pacers were not near the favorites in the East going into this.
Yeah, my point is, okay, dating back to, I guess, post 2004, or in the last 20 years, Rick Carlisle is, I think he's probably already a Hall of Famer. This would solidify it.
Right.
It's what he's done is just he knows what buttons to push. He knows. I know we've been somewhat critical of his rotations and whatnot, but if he wins, it doesn't matter. I mean,
He's a Hall of Famer. It's just a matter of how far up on the ladder now, right?
Yeah, it's. I just don't. I think he's been a blessing for this Pacers team. When we brought him in, I wasn't quite sure, but I was like, okay, at least he's a veteran who can work with this young team. Did I ever see him getting us this far? I'll be honest, probably not. But I'm glad he's been our coach. He's been nothing short of sensational.
Greg, what was your stat earlier? He has more wins as an underdog than any coach in NBA history in the playoffs.
Yeah, that wasn't me. Somebody said that.
He could get 12 if he wins tomorrow, which would be the most.
Nuts.
I think he's tied at 11.
That Mavericks team that he won with, that was just such an improbable. That's like a group of people that would be performing at Branson, Missouri at that point.
Brian Cardinal played key minutes, Mike.
Brian Cardinal, Jason Kidd, who was pushing 40 at that point. You had Jason Terry was the second best player. It was such a wild. And to watch them go, I mean, I think Dirk's one of the most underrated players in the history of the NBA.
Yeah,
but the rest of that team, good grief, man.
Tyson Chandler was, I think, Defensive Player of the Year that year, wasn't he?
And just a complete offensive liability.
That's the guy. That's the type of player. Greg, you would want him playing center for the Pacers. You want Clint Capella next year or whatever the hell nonsense you were talking about.
Yeah, Greg wants a center that'll get you 5 points and 20 rebounds.
That's correct. That is exactly what I want. That's not Clint Capella. That's not Clint Capella or
that will absolutely clog up the lane and not have any sort of give and go action like we see with Tyrese all the time. That's what you want playing for the Pacers.
It's the modern NBA.
I want Jalen Duren playing center, his type rather than Miles Turner's type for sure. It'll open up the offense. It'll get a rebounder who starts the fast break. There's all kinds of benefits. Isaiah Jackson is kind of the prototype that I'm talking about. Who I'm looking for doesn't need to be better than Miles Turner. It needs to be a better fit. That's all I'm saying.
All four centers the Pacers have are free agents going into next year. So we could be seeing Clint Capella next year, Greg. So congratulations on
There you
that.
go.
Isaiah Jackson's a
He's like he'd be a
Well,
restricted free agent.
restricted. Okay.
Yeah. I was reading an athletic article, and the numbers they threw out for Miles, and I'll throw these out for you guys. If they could get Miles in at 3 years between 75 and 80 million, would you be on board?
Yes.
Depends on what happens tomorrow.
Doesn't
If he
matter what happens tomorrow. I say
if they
that's
win,
perfectly fine.
I mean,
if they win, I want to run it back. If they don't, I want to put together the best team you
that's
possibly can to continue to win or to finally win a championship.
You're still well under the luxury
But
tax
no wiggle room
and
anymore.
would be able to get
Right now
another
they've
piece.
got great
But they've
wiggle
said
room. They
they'd
can make
probably
all
be
kinds of
willing to
moves.
go into the luxury tax.
There's 100
So
different things they could do that's better than Miles Turner. That's all I'm saying.
I
I'm still
severely
not
disagree.
convinced that they're not the favorite in the East to get Giannis. I think they're the if Giannis wants to go to the East, the
Oh
Pacers have the
Jesus!
best
Yep.
package to get
Okay.
him.
But
So now
we've talked about this 20 times.
so now you'd rather have Miles Turner than Giannis, is what you're saying. So it was
Me?
ridiculous that I would rather have. Yes, no, not you, Cody. It's ridiculous that I would rather have Jalen Duren type than Miles Turner, but it's not ridiculous that you would rather
And give
have
up the farm for
Miles
Giannis.
Turner than what farm? They wouldn't give up um, Tyrese Halliburton. They wouldn't give up a lot of the valuable players.
You
They
lose
they
you lose
have
all.
9 good players and draft picks out the wazoo that they won't need. It could get done. I'm just saying it's a way better option than Miles Turner. And if you don't think that, then you are blinded
I
by
do. It's
loyalty.
just I think it wouldn't make sense.
Then you're blinded by loyalty. All right, Will.
Okay. Guess I'm blinded by loyalty.
What do you think, Mike? Rich?
Where Miles goes next year, Dallas.
I think he's going to Dallas. I think it'll be a sign
Yeah,
and trade is what's going to happen. And Anthony Davis will be
I do
part of
too.
it, and he'll be on his way out for something as well, is my guess.
Yep, I agree, and I think that's a good fit for Miles. If he's not going to be in a Pacer jersey, that's probably the best place for him to
Brooklyn
be.
has a lot of money to throw around, and there's not a lot to throw it at. So watch out
That's
for
right.
Brooklyn in that
Is
scenario.
Claxton a free agent, right?
Ooh, he'd be a good
Claxton, I
one.
believe, is yes.
Okay, but I thought I remember seeing that in somewhere too. That's another guy that
He'd
Craig
be
would
one I'd love. Yes, he would. Question 5, Will, and that is the
Oh
final
shit!
score of Game 7. Can we believe we're saying this? The Pacers are in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Crazy. What's the final
Um,
score going to be, Will?
I if Grant's prediction is true and it's low scoring, the Thunder won Game 7. The Pacers have to get this to 110. It's got to be a shootout. Like the Pacers have to score a lot of points. If they score under 100 points, the Thunder won. So I 113 to 107. They hit free throws at the end. It's probably a one possession game. They hit free throws with 30 seconds on the clock and stretch it to 6, but the Pacers have to get to 110 to win.
Anybody else? I know John isn't going to make this prediction. I know John has decided he doesn't want to make a prediction on this. And I get it. I completely get it. Mike Rich, you have a final score?
I'm gonna go 109, 106.
Cody?
118, 110. Pacers.
Hutsell, you want to make a prediction?
156 to 14 Pacers.
Yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
James Johnson's gonna karate chop SGA in
Hey,
the first
can I just
minute.
can I just say how much I love the fact that James Johnson got into an NBA Finals game and didn't look to score, but he got his ass thrown out. That was maybe
In the
Awesome.
most
it.
bull
Awesome.
crap ejection.
What did
And
he
they signed
do?
him just to do that stuff
He
too.
shoved and apparently hit that kid in the head or whatever. I don't know. He did run like full steam at him, but you could find it on like Twitter or something.
And they know that
I,
they put him in just to do that. That was the reason he got ejected.
I
Yep.
don't think you
I
eject
love it.
somebody for that.
I love it.
Me
I
too.
absolutely love it.
Me
That's
too.
metal.
Can we start James Johnson tomorrow just so he can like take SGA out of the game?
No, I'd start him and I'd take a run. First thing I'd do is just take a full
What are they gonna do?
Braun Breaker spear. Just
I don't
absolutely
know
annihilate
anything.
him.
Anything to take SGA out of the game.
I'd just punch him in the mouth. Like I would literally just go walk up like right after the tip and I'd just punch him right in the damn mouth, just knock his ass out.
Because
Dude,
if that happens, the Pacers are NBA champions.
I by any means necessary. Like if you're at this
Exactly.
point where morals are playing into how you want to win, you're fooling yourself. You win and you just
You know who?
hey, he
Warning:
does
this
that.
podcast
I
recommends
want.
violence.
He
Oh,
does
you know
that.
James Johnson would be all
What,
for it.
what,
If he does that,
what do you
we're
think, James
replacing the
Johnson's?
monument with a James Johnson statue. If he does that, we're taking the monument
Yes.
circle out. We're putting a James
Screw
Johnson
those war
statue.
heroes.
Dude shows up, puts his hair down, wears a
Uh,
grill during the game, and just takes out.
tough.
I mean, just
He would be the most
best.
beloved Pacer in franchise history.
That's
I don't
right.
even. I don't think that. I think that Nimhar is just gonna. He's been a pet. Like SGA gets more annoyed every game
And
with
they do
Nimhar
not like
guarding
each
him. Like
other.
you
You
can
can
see.
tell.
You could see it
They
fluster. Like you can
do
just
act.
see it.
I don't think
They're
they
good
do.
friends.
That's what they say. I don't believe it.
They
I've had
both,
friends like that before that I didn't like too.
They're
know
good
what I mean?
friends like Caitlin
Somebody
Clark
just
and
for
Angel
years.
Reese are friends.
That's right. Yeah, I don't believe
No.
for a second. I've seen the way they look at each other.
I
They
mean,
don't
they
like
both
each
play
other.
for Team Canada, and they seem to be like each
Correct.
other.
Caitlin Clark
they
threw an
grew up
assist to
together.
Angel Reese in the All-Star game, but that doesn't matter either.
Yeah. I
They
know that
don't
they
like each
pretend to be friends, but I don't. I can see by the way they look at each other. They don't like each
No,
other.
that Andrew Nimhard has vengeance in his eyes when he looks at SGA.
That's
I
right.
full like he looks to
Well, I
that
don't doubt
look
it.
of him, and it's why I think that SGA will fold in Game 7 because I think that Nimhard is an actual killer, and I think that SGA pretends to be one. Seriously, I think that Nimhard is just a winner. I think he's a winning basketball player, and he will do whatever
I mean,
it takes to win a game.
he knows how to win. I mean, look at the college. I mean, Gonzaga is a. I know they haven't won a national title, but they know how to win there.
What's
They
the
don't know how to
Pacers
win at
record
all,
since they
but-
inserted Nimhard into the starting lineup? That's what I would. What is the number of games he plays? What is the Pacers' record in
point.
games that he plays?
So I was going to bring that up earlier in the playoff run because I think it's important. Like the reason, like what was our record the first half of the season? Not good, but we went on this amazing run starting in January, right?
He got healthy.
That's when Nimhard came back because I was at the game he came back. It was in Memphis. It might have been February actually, but that's when he came back.
No, I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that I think that he does all the little things that kind of get swept under the radar a little bit. He's never afraid to take on the team's best defender. And to John's point, I mean, we say that defensively he's been super vital. The only series that really he's not been like the most important defensive player is the Knicks series when Neesmith had to, do what he did to Brunson. For whatever reason, Nimhard's not been able to figure out Brunson, which I find hilarious because SGA is 3 times the ball player I think that Brunson is, in all honesty, and as far as what SGA has in his bag.
I have
What?
an answer real fast.
Okay.
Thanks to AI. The Pacers this year, when Nimhard starts, are 44-21, including the playoffs. 6-11 when
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Yeah, if there's a player that I'm circling and saying he's going to win me a ball game, it's Andrew Nimhard.
I need him to have a spectacular game and get Finals MVP because I bet him at 280-1 on MVP.
Unless he pops off for 30.
Yeah, that's what he's
Which
saying.
we
If he
don't-
goes for 50,
But
Yeah.
Okay, but
Which he's not, because
here's the thought process though. He has a spectacular game, right? I mean, I bet this at the beginning of this specific series, but he has a spectacular game 7, like offensively and defensively. Everybody else has been pretty much even except for Pascal, slightly elevated, right? So then give it to Nimhard for winning Game 7. I make the
Hmm.
money on that bet. That's what we need to have happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that we're not obviously we can't look at it, go back and look at it now because it's game six and the Pacers have not won game seven. But I feel like if the Pacers win game seven, I could point three times during that TV broadcast that you could point the camera to an OKC player and see their will slowly get broken. And like you just see it on their face of this is real. Like it's not
But
fake
was that for
anymore.
that
Like it's
night
been
or for
fun.
good?
I I I don't know. I feel like the looks it just depends. I mean, it just depends on the mental capacity and the resiliency of the team. The Thunder are young. They're super young. They've really faced little to no adversity the entire year outside of, I mean, I guess that Nuggets series, which everyone knew the Thunder were winning game seven with Gordon's hamstring being bummed out. I mean, this is the first time that this Pacers team is real. Like they have challenged the Thunder in a way that the Thunder have not been challenged this entire season. And I just expect I mean you watch a football game and I know everyone here watches football and this, that, and the other. I can tell typically who's going to win a football game by who is pushing who off the pile. Like just that extra shove when it's a scrum and stuff, and you shove the opposing player down into the dirt to get yourself up, and you just kind of dog walk them a little bit. Like that means something. That breaks people's will. That makes men feel scared and uncomfortable. They don't like being inferior. They don't like being the beta in any situation. I think the Pacers push the Thunder down in game six that will affect them and their mental going back to game seven, regardless of where the game's played, regardless of how the crowd interacts with the team. The Pacers are going to go in there and shut OKC up really quickly.
You know who I hope gets shut up tomorrow?
Doris Burke.
Stephen A. Smith.
Doris Burke. Nice.
Was that 5 questions for Will already? Did we already do 5? Because I
We've
have
done
one.
5. Okay.
Well, here's a
let's
question
ask
that
it.
needs answers. Well, here's a question that needs answered. Which team do you think feels more pressure tomorrow in Game 7?
OKC has to feel more pressure. Like they've been the favorites. They've been the more talked about team the whole time. Like if it doesn't go right for the Thunder quickly, like they're going to be pressing like for an answer. It's I think that the Pacers have no fear. Like if the Pacers lose, it's like, oh well, like we weren't really supposed to be here at all anyway. Like nobody predicted us to even get to game seven. No one even thought we had any a snowball's chance in hell of winning like the last three series they've played in. Like if you don't think the Thunder, especially at home, I think it's easier sometimes to win a road game because it's just you and your team and it's like you against the world and it's a very much a bunker mentality like foxhole mentality where it's like we'll do whatever we can to get out of here with a victory and it's like now the Thunder have to go answer that in front of their home crowd and I just think there's a ton of pressure there. I think it
That crowd's
messes
going to
with
get
people's
nervous
mentals. If the Pacers jump out in front,
Oh
like
yeah.
that crowd's gonna get quiet and it's gonna feel just like I mean I just the feeling when that crowd just shut up in game
too. Oh,
one when Tyrese hit that shot was just like it was out of this world. Like just the chills you get when it's just like we're cheering and then everybody just knows exactly what happened. And I think the Pacers are gonna punch them in the mouth and they're gonna get really quiet really quickly.
It's
on
easily
a scale of
OKC.
1 to another bonus question, real fast, Will. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much does Oklahoma suck?
It's just a god awful state. It's tornado havoc all the time. Although they don't even have a claim to Tornado Alley anymore because it's moving east. Indiana can now claim we are truly part of Tornado Alley based on the last 20 years of data and research per the National Weather Service. So I like to bring that news that we are now the king of the tornadoes, not Oklahoma anymore. Um, their treatment of people has been awful. There's a reason nobody really wants to live there. The Oklahoma City skyline looks like Evansville, and there's probably just as much meth in Oklahoma City as Evansville. Uh, it's just a dumpster fire. I just don't. Anybody that talks good about Oklahoma just needs to shut up. It's just like
Yeah, John.
Oklahoma State sucks. The Sooners suck.
Mike
That's
Gundy
right.
What else
sucks.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Gundy's
Everybody.
such a dipshit. One American News, my ass. Like you want to talk, like just Chuba Hubbard literally calling out your head coach when he's a junior running back is not typically a very good indicative measure of your humanity. And
And the
Oklahoma
only
just
good thing
fails on all
about
the
this,
levels.
The only good thing about their state died just a few years ago, and that was Toby Keith. So,
Billy
Yeah,
Sims,
I
Greg.
mean,
Billy
and
Sims.
well, yeah, Billy Sims, yeah, but he's not been relevant in
I've said
Yeah.
it
20
three
to
times, and I'm going
50
to say it
years.
one more time. However you feel about Oklahoma, either read
I
or
love
watch
Billy
Killers of
Sims.
the Flower Moon, and you'll feel a different way about the state of Oklahoma. You'll feel a different way. I know it's a poor portrayal of a few families, but that shit lingered. It's the only movie actually that I've thought about crying at in theaters. I was quite emotional. It was a very sad, very riveting movie. Um, but I hate New York too. I want all the thunder smoke. I don't give a shit. The Pacers are standing on business, getting the job done.
And that is the perfect way to finish it, isn't it? Thanks for listening, Go Pacers. It might actually happen tonight. I've been waiting this. I can remember being a Pacers fan back in 1982. That's how far back. There were others. It's going to mean a lot to us. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie. Susie, the day could be the day.